Senior 7 early signs that predict longevity. Life after 60. Today, is your frequency normal? After 50, let's finally talk about it. Honestly, have you ever sat quietly, maybe late at night or during a slow moment in your day, and wondered, am I doing it too much or not enough? Is this still normal for my age? Is something off with my body? And I'm just not seeing it yet. If those thoughts have ever crossed your mind, let me tell you something very important. You are not alone. These are the kinds of questions countless men over 50 quietly ask themselves, but almost never say out loud. They keep them tucked away behind jokes, half answers, or total silence. And honestly, that silence is part of the problem. Why this video matters more than you think. Because if you've been guessing, just going off what you used to do in your 30s or 40s, or letting social media locker room talk or old habits define what normal looks like, then your body might already be feeling the effects of that uncertainty. You might already be experiencing lower energy, reduced sexual confidence, unnoticed shifts in prostate health, and subtle but real changes in performance and recovery. But you may not be connecting those dots. Why? Because no one ever told you how this works. There was no manual for this stage of life. Until now. This isn't about guesswork, it's about getting the truth. In this video, I won't just toss out vague stats or throw around random numbers. Instead, you'll learn what science actually says about healthy sexual frequency after age 50, why there is no one-size-fits-all number, and how comparison can be harmful, and how to find your own natural rhythm based on your body, your energy, and your lifestyle. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll share one simple science-backed habit I use myself to stay sexually healthy, emotionally balanced, and physically energized without pills pressure or guilt. First, a small request before we go further. If you're someone who values real, honest information about men's health, if you're tired of hearing fluff or pretending everything's just fine when you know your body is changing, please hit that like button. Leave a comment below, even just to say where you're watching from. And make sure to subscribe to Health Mastery, where we talk about the things men over 50 actually need to hear, but rarely do. Your support helps me keep making videos that matter. Why most men over 50 feel lost about frequency. Let me say this as clearly as I can if you've been wondering how often is normal, but never felt comfortable asking anyone. You're not weird, you're not broken, you're just like most men your age. Here's the truth. Once we hit our 50s and beyond, we go through real biological shifts. Testosterone starts to dip, energy and drive fluctuate, stress and sleep become major players, and recovery just takes longer. But no one tells us what to expect. There's no class, no map, no honest conversation, just awkward silence. Or worse, comparison to unrealistic standards or younger versions of ourselves. And when we start comparing instead of understanding, we fall into confusion, shame, and isolation. That's why I made this video. Because you deserve clarity, not shame. You deserve understanding, not guesswork. Over the next few minutes, we're going to break it all down clearly and respectfully. Here's what you'll learn. What science says about ideal sexual frequency for men after 50. Based on real studies, not locker room talk. Why your needs are different than your friends, your neighbors, or even your younger self, and why trying to keep up might actually backfire. 3. How to listen to your body and find a rhythm that supports your energy, health, and confidence, because your best days aren't behind you, they're just waiting for better direction. This isn't about pressure or performance. It's about awareness, balance, and confidence. You deserve to feel empowered in your body, not confused by it. We've just opened the door to a conversation that most men only have with themselves, if at all. So let's keep going. Because the truth about frequency after 50 is not only simpler than you think, it's a lot more empowering when you stop guessing and start listening to real science and your own body. Section 1. What the science really says and what it doesn't. Let's start with the most cited study on this topic. In 2016, researchers at Harvard published a groundbreaking paper in the journal European Urology. They followed over 30,000 men for nearly 18 years, tracking their sexual activity and long-term health. Here's what they found. Men who ejaculated approximately 21 times per month, that's about 4 to 5 times per week, had a significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer than men who did it less often. Sounds like a bold number, right? You might even be thinking 4 or 5 times a week at my age. But here's where we need to pause and look deeper, because most people miss one very important point. The catch most people overlook. That study primarily focused on men in their 20s to early 40s, a life stage when testosterone is high, recovery is fast, and sexual desire is at its natural peak. So if you're in your 50s, 60s, or beyond, comparing yourself to that group isn't just unhelpful, it's unrealistic and potentially harmful. Your body is different now, and that's okay. As we age, testosterone levels gradually decline. Energy becomes more precious. Recovery takes longer physically and mentally. And stress, sleep, and medication begin playing a bigger role in how we feel day to day. That's why experts like those from the Mayo Clinic and other leading medical bodies suggest a more sustainable range for older men, around 2 to 4 times per week, including partnered or solo activity. This is not a rule or a quota. Let me be very clear, this is not a gold standard. This is not a number to hit like a scorecard. It's a balanced range meant to keep your prostate active and healthy, support hormone circulation, and reduce the risk of prostate congestion, which can lead to discomfort or inflammation over time. In fact, going for weeks or months without any release at all can allow fluids to build up in the prostate, creating tension, inflammation, and sometimes even pelvic discomfort. But again, this isn't about pressure. Listen to your body, not the numbers. Rather than obsessing over frequency, ask yourself, how do I feel after? Do I feel calm, clear, and relaxed? Or do I feel drained, foggy, or irritable? Because the answer to what's right for you isn't found on a chart. It's found in how your body responds. Sometimes clarity comes not from doing more, but from paying closer attention. Section 2. Why there's no one-size-fits-all and why comparison is a trap. Here's something men don't hear enough. There is no right number. There is no perfect frequency that applies to all men over 50. Yet so many of us fall into the comparison trap. We compare ourselves to our younger selves, our friends, the image we see in media, or even silent assumptions about what real men should be doing. And when we don't measure up to those imagined standards, we feel guilt, shame, doubt. Sometimes we overcompensate, other times we withdraw. But here's the truth. Your sexual rhythm is a biological response, not a performance. Some men feel their best with 2 or 3 releases per week. Others feel fine with once every 10 days. And some might shift depending on their energy levels, how well they've been sleeping, their stress load or emotional state. It's all valid, as long as the habit isn't controlling you, and you're not avoiding it because of shame, fear, or misinformation. Ask the better question. Instead of asking, how often should I be doing this? Try asking, what feels natural for me this week? What does my body actually need right now? Because that number might change, and that's okay. Rhythm is not a rule book. It's fluid, adaptive, human. Coming up next. In the next part of this video, we'll talk about how to tune into your body so you can stop guessing and start feeling more confident, connected, and energized in your own skin. We'll explore how to recognize when your rhythm is supporting you or depleting you, why guilt and suppression can quietly work against your health, and how to rebuild your relationship with your body. One habit at a time, ready to take the next step. So we've talked about why there's no one-size-fits-all answer, because real health isn't about hitting perfect numbers. It's about something deeper: awareness, adaptability, and trust in your own body. Now let's talk about how to actually tune in and find that rhythm without apps, calendars, or pressure. Section 3. How to tune in to your own body and find your rhythm. Let's be honest. In today's world, we track everything: our steps, our sleep, our screen time. But when it comes to something as personal as your sexual rhythm, no app can truly tell you what your body needs. There's no calendar for desire, no chart for self-connection. There's only you and how you feel. Start with these 3 simple questions. Next time you release, whether with a partner or solo, pause for a moment afterward. Don't rush off. Don't scroll your phone. Just sit with yourself and ask, 1. How do I feel afterward? Do you feel clear, relaxed, grounded in your body? Or do you feel drained, foggy, a little on edge? That first group, that's a sign your rhythm is probably in sync with your body's needs. But if you're feeling off afterward, mentally or physically, it could be a clue that your body wants more space between releases. No judgment, just information. 2. Where is the urge coming from? Is it a real physical desire or a habit triggered by boredom, stress, or emotional discomfort? Neither is wrong. We're all human. But being aware of your motives gives you power over the moment instead of being unconsciously pulled by it. You might even ask, am I reaching for release or am I really craving connection? That small pause can shift everything. 3. Has my rhythm changed with my lifestyle? Here's something many men don't realize. Your sex drive is deeply connected to how much sleep you're getting, your stress levels, your diet, your emotional bandwidth. If you're sleeping less, eating differently, taking new medications, or navigating a stressful season, then of course your rhythm might shift. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're adapting. And giving yourself permission to shift is one of the healthiest things you can do. Let awareness be your guide. Over time, the more you check in with yourself without judgment, the more clearly your body will speak. And that voice becomes your rhythm, not someone else's schedule, not your younger self's habits, not what you read online, just yours. A personal story and a gentle reminder. Let me share something with you, not from a textbook, but from experience. There was a time when I was constantly wondering, am I doing this too much? Too little? Is something wrong with me? I read articles, I looked at the numbers, but none of them gave me peace because no number out there was connected to my body, to my sleep, to my stress, to my stage of life. That peace came the moment I stopped chasing outside answers and started listening inside. What I learned: it's not about whether it's twice a week or 5 times a week. It's about whether when I'm done I feel calm, clear, connected, or whether I feel scattered, guilty, out of sync. That's the signal. That's the answer. And it will change from week to week, just like the tides. And that's okay. What I hope you take away: there is no universal number that defines what's right for you, but there is a rhythm, a balance your body already knows. Your job isn't to guess it or to force it. Your job is to listen and respond. Because in the end, sexual health at our age is no longer about performance. It's about presence. It's about being in tune with your energy, your needs, and your well-being. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're just learning how to listen again. And that is one of the most powerful things a man can do. So now we've explored how to stop chasing numbers and start listening to what your body truly needs. Because in the end, this journey isn't about tracking or performing. It's about reconnecting. It's not about counting. It's about connecting. We've grown up in a world that measures everything: how much, how often, how fast. But at this stage in life, maybe it's time to ask a different question. What helps me feel calm, clear, and grounded in my body? Because true health isn't about comparison. It's not about keeping score. It's about finding a pace that works for you and trusting it enough to follow it. If this message resonated with you, if even one sentence made you pause and think, I invite you to stay connected at Life After 60. Today, this is exactly what we do: have honest, respectful conversations that meet you where you are. No pressure, no judgment, just clarity, science, and tools that help you live with strength, not shame. Where we're headed next. In our next video, we're going to explore something that happens when the rhythm we've found becomes a little unbalanced. Maybe you felt it when a healthy habit turns into a routine you can't break. When you find yourself coming back to it not out of joy or connection, but out of reflex. When that small voice inside whispers, is this helping me or hurting me? This is what we call compulsive patterns. And it's more common than you might think, especially during times of stress, isolation, or emotional unrest. So, if you've ever asked yourself, am I doing this too much? Is this habit still serving me? Then you'll want to be part of that conversation. Stay connected with Life After 60 today. If you found any part of this video helpful, tap like it helps others find this conversation and join the dialogue. Subscribe to Life After 60 today and turn on notifications so you never miss a video that could support your journey, and share a thought in the comments. What part of today's message stood out to you most? Your voice matters here. And when you're ready to keep growing, keep reflecting, and keep discovering new layers of yourself, head over to our playlist. There's more waiting for you there. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay steady, stay curious, and we'll see you in the next video.